Venezuela in crisis. The number of Venezuelans applying for asylum is up 168% in fiscal 2016 in the most visible state of the world. Venezuela is now a failed state. As the economic crisis worsens, political opposition strikes and violent crime increase, citizens are increasingly seeking paradise in the United States. According to the new report from the Pew Research Center, the year of our return has been an increase in asylum applications from the United States. Venezuela. As of fiscal year 2016, applications from Venezuela have increased by 168% over the 2015 fiscal year, to over 10,000. Venezuela's economic collapse has been making headlines for more than a year. Oil prices plummeted, and price controls led to shortages of basic staples like food and medicine. The recent study from Simon Bolivar University found that 9 out of 10 Venezuelans can no longer afford to buy enough food. Now, people wait in line for hours for essentials like rice and cooking oil, sometimes even fending off armed thieves. As food riots became a daily occurrence, President Nicolas Maduro, who succeeded Hugo Chavez after his death in 2013, put the army in charge of rationing. Food is now transported by armed guards, and police protect against looters. The International Monetary Fund has estimated that Venezuela's inflation rate will reach 480% this year, and more than 1,600% next year. Unemployment is around 17% and is expected to grow to a quarter over the next 3 years. On top of all that, Maduro has been cracking down on his political opponents. In December, the opposition coalition won a major victory, securing a majority of seats in parliament for the first time since Chavez came to power in 1999. After that, Maduro intensified his crackdown. The Venezuelan Penal Forum, which tracks human rights abuses, counted 96 political prisoners in June, compared with just 11 when Maduro became president. Meanwhile, election officials signaled earlier this week that a long-promised recall election to Maduro would have to wait until 2017. This combination of food and medicine shortages, political instability, and increasing violent crime is driving Venezuelans out of the country, according to Julio Henriquez, director of the Boston-based nonprofit Refugee Freedom Program, which currently focuses on helping Venezuelan asylum seekers. There was a lot of hope that the new parliament would make a big difference in the human rights conditions, he says, but human rights conditions have worsened. So far, Henriquez says, most of the Venezuelan asylum seekers he's encountered have been middle-class people who've come to the United States via a student or tourist visa and then applied for asylum after their arrival. It's quite a contrast to the Central American families showing up at the US-Mexico border, a situation which advocates have warned 4 years amounts to a refugee crisis. Faye Hipsman, an analyst with the Migration Policy Institute, says some Venezuelan asylum applicants may be taking advantage of excessive backlogs in the application process, delays that allow applicants to stay in the United States 4 years pending the outcome of their claim. And while many are likely fleeing poverty, hunger, and general violence, Hipsman says, it's often not enough to qualify for asylum, which requires applicants to prove that they risk persecution based on their race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or social group. The share of these people have legitimate asylum claims, she says. But there's a lot of concern that for legitimate reasons, people don't want to go back to Venezuela because it's dangerous there and the circumstances are really bad.